So this video is a full technical analysis on Amazon, which is my chief instrument for option trading. It's what I use on a daily basis for day trading, and I don't trade stocks. I do sometimes. I do trade micro stocks if I catch it in the pre-market. I'll do the scanning the pre-market, and if there's always like a good one, like when Kodak or ADT or whatever was teaming up with Google, I'll get in on those. Normally with the pre-market, but when the bell opens, I am focusing mainly on Amazon, Tesla, Apple, but Amazon would be the first one. So this is the technical analysis of Amazon because Amazon is, for me, the best trading instrument. And just quickly to show you the reason why, and here's the options for Amazon. So um, here you have the value for the 3,350 calls. Okay, so this point right here, um, where it opened up yesterday, right here. So pre-market it was kind of weak and then it shot up, and this momentum selling up. If you not follow my technical analysis, I try to look for these doji signal and these tails or wicks of the candles on the 5-minute candles. This is 15-minute, but on the 5-minute candle, um, it'll show this wick, and that's a reversal candle. So if you were to get in and sold one, and you never get the top, but let's just say you can get in anywhere here, 75, 70, sell one calls and cover when it pulls back, and on the next candle it pull back close to 3,300, which is a good level. You always want to cover when it pulls back, retrace back that far. I mean, that's a pretty big pullback all the way from where it was 33.75 all the way to 3,300, and that would have been, and let's just say you got in at 75 and covered. That's 40, so that's 3,500 on one single option trade. And exactly why I sell calls or sell options. I sell both puts and calls options. Now sometimes I do buy, and I may cover that in another video. I do buy options at times, but most of the time I'm selling options. And the reason I'm selling options is because it gives me the flexibility to hold an option, is because you can look at right now the 3,500. Um, let's just say, actually, I sold today at the close, I sold the 3,300 puts. So, well, that's a bad example. The intrinsic value right now for the current value, let's just say we can round this up to 3,350. The current value, the IV, the theoretical value is around 41 points. So, close to 50 points. So if it closes anywhere, um, if it closes at the exact same price where it is right now, let's just say close on Friday, option expiration 3,050, you would make that 41. And the only way you would lose is if it goes above, pretty much it goes above a 3,400 or 3,390, because you got 41 points of safety net. So if it closes at 3,390 by Friday, you will be flat even, which is, I mean, it can go a lot higher, and that's why it's risky to hold a option. And normally I just day trade because I just want consistent gains. Um, in a more stable market, I would be holding these options a lot more, but right now I just feel like it's just too risky to hold anything overnight. But yeah, that this is why, and this is a good example of a setup for an option. So you got your calls options on one side, and you look at you got the volumes, and then you got the puts on the other side. And you when you play, you want to stay with the even options, right? The one that has the most volume, 3,000, 350, 3,000. These guys, where the numbers are even, and on the put side, so right here, right, 3,300, and maybe even 3,200 if I were to go down to, let me see where that is, 3,200. Let's see where the puts are on that guy. That is not what I just typed in. 3,200. Yeah. So not as much volume as I thought. Which may indicate that there's just not a lot of interest on the bear side. 3,250. Hmm. And sometimes if you do all, you see everything. And around right here, you look at the volume. So today, most of the volume is on the call day today. The call options, which may tend to be that way when when the stock is positive. Now, you can't really use this as a technical analysis indicator because it's only valid at the end of the day, which means absolutely nothing when it's valid at the end of the day. Because during the day, during the morning, it's hard to see the volume, and so during the day, you just want to follow, um, basic clean technical analysis. But going back to the detail analysis for Amazon, so this is the daily. So on the daily, you just need the 5-day simple moving average, the 20-day exponential moving average, the 50-day, 100 and 200 days exponential moving average. And if you look at this closely, you can almost kind of just look at the trend for the 5-day moving average and see the 5-day moving average alone can actually give you a quite a bit of a good indication of what the stock is going to do. So here's the last push up, which was in the beginning of, here it is. So this is the end of June where it tested the 20-day moving average. So you also want the McCullen oscillator. So you can see the McCullen oscillator. It's you got 4 days of red bars on the McCullen oscillator, and a lot of time it will go negative, indicating that the stock has gone into the bear territory. But they defended. Of course, they will defend the 20-day moving average on Amazon. And that defense of the 20-day exponential moving average, and this is a doji tail, a reversal tail. Anytime you see these kind of doji candle with the wick and the tail, it's a reversal candle. So if you were anticipating this, you would buy some puts, buy some calls or sell some puts. Buying calls and riding, if you would have bought some calls options, you could have rolled all the way. This is huge momentum push. And look at that 5-day exponential, just steep up, 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 up. Capitulation top candle. A capitulation top candle is really where it just goes hyperbolic and you don't know where it will stop, but it typically would go to an even number. At this time, it went to 3350 or close to it. It could have gone up to. It would hard to say. I would say it would have been hard to go all the way up to 30. What was? Oh no, 3400. Could have gone up to 3400. So that would have been the other target for a capitulation top. But 3350 or close to it, that's decent enough. And that's where it's stuck. And then you got this reversal candle. So this reversal candle, the capitulation top, I don't call this a doji candle. I call this a capitulation top candle. Huge candle with a wick above the 5-day moving average, but it's a red, so it indicates it's a sell off red candle. So of course they're gonna start selling this off. Went below the 5-day moving average. Typically that would do on after a huge run up and a reversal, because you got all these buyers, right? You got all these buyers and short covering. So at this capitulation top, what do you have is you got no more shorts. All the shorts are gone, and all the sellers, they starts to take profit, and one profit leads to another profit taking, more profit taking. Then you got stops. People set stops, and more selling. Then short starts to come in. Push, push. They see technically it's below the 5-day. Push down. Um, so you got 4 days of red candle, which stop exactly at the 20-day exponential moving average with a semi doji tail. So this lines up with your McCullen oscillator. So here's your capitulation top, um, which at the time would have been a huge green candle. However, it turned red at the end. So the formation at this point it turned red. But when it was at the high, it was probably green. But since it ended red for the day, it's a red candle. Then you got another red candle, turns negative. Could have kept going negative if it went below the 20-day exponential moving average, but of course it's not. So it went right back up. So these type of this right here, where to me, if it would have went the other way on the McCullen oscillator, it would have been a cleaner technical. So this is the reason why I don't use McCullen oscillator all the time. Um, it's still on the negative side, and then it went down again on the negative. Um, after, I mean, at this point, you would have thought it would have went at least. Let me see where it stopped at. Yeah, you would have thought at least it would have went to 3,300. But for whatever reason, it stopped right at 32.38. Strange stop, to be honest. 32.40 is the high for this candle. If it would have been 32.50, it might have been better. That would have been right here, 32.50, but it didn't touch that, strangely enough. Um, but and then it reverses, and so you got these red bars on the McCullen oscillator. Went below the 20-day exponential moving average. Could have went to the 50, but I mean that's too far away. So then it has this tail, which is a good reversal indicator. Um, and then of course going, then it just seesaw it way back up. So the rest you can obviously see how it behaves with respect to the 5-day moving average. It goes above, goes below, but you can almost kind of just phase out on the candle and just focus on the 5-day moving average. And you can see the 5-day moving average. If you were just to focus on the 5-day moving average, you can see this huge push, 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 push. Turn, 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 and then another smaller turn. Here it goes, um, lining up with the 20-day exponential moving average. Then it turns up above this high for the 5-day moving average. Then it went back down, tested it. So you see this line right here lined up with this high for the 5-day moving average. Then it goes up, 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 up. So what do you see now? I mean, yeah, this is obviously very bullish for Amazon. This is a signal that really says this would be another capitulation top. Maybe if maybe happen on Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I don't know. It's another capitulation top coming where they should push it higher. Maybe not. And the reason why I say maybe not is because this right here, And I kind of didn't see it, but this is a whipsaw candle where it ended right at the middle, but it has a high range. So the upper candle is at 33.80, and the lower candle is at or the lower range of that candle is 32.57. So if you look at that, here it is. And let me put the date indicator so I can see that a little bit clearer. Okay. So here was yesterday. So what will it do tomorrow? It will definitely, if not tomorrow, at least on Thursday, it's gonna go up and test this upper range. So if it breaks out of this upper range, um, upper bound at 33.80, it's gonna go to 400. It looks like it wants to go to, I mean not 400, 3400. It looks like it wants to go to 3400. And then if it gets to 3400, it's gonna go above 3400. It's just gonna do that because people are stupid and think that 3400 is a good number where it stop. Well, look at here. I mean, 3000, people thought 3000 was a good number where it stopped. I mean, it kind of it just shot right above it. Went to 3050, went back down to 3000, and then just shot up even more. And did it stop at 3100? No. Did it stop at 3200? No. I mean, it just kept going and going. So 3400, um, I just don't see how that it would just stop at 3400. It most likely, if it goes to 3400, it's gonna go to 3500. Yeah, right here, and that's gonna be the capitulation top target. So the target for Amazon for the capitulation top will be around close to 3500. Let's just call it 3500 as a good number. And you just look at this chart right here, and then you can compare it to Apple, and you can see how Apple went capitulation top, um, went all the way up to capitulation top at 500, and then the next day even shot above 500 for capitulation top. So it went all the way to 515. So amazing, amazing. So anybody who think that 500 got to be the top just got faked out and covered at whatever. Then it retraced. So if you look at Apple right here, right, ended up 500. You know, anybody who thinks, oh, 500 capitulation top, got a short, gapped up even higher, 515, and then the seller starts to sell. Classic. Huge gap up and then sold off, and now today is another sell off. Might get another leg push, but it's not gonna go back up to 515 on Apple. I can tell you that much. It's gonna fail any push up above or toward, oh yeah, above 500. Any push above 500 most likely will start rolling over this 5-day moving average. It will start catching up, and then it will start rolling over eventually. So this candle right here on Apple, where it's at 515, is the high candle for most likely for the year for Apple. I'm gonna call it right now. This is the high candle for Apple for the year. I just don't see how Apple will go above this to 525. It just, I mean, it can happen. Let's just look at yeah, maybe five. I mean, anything can happen. So I'll take that back. I mean, this is the weekly for Apple, and it may hyperbolically push to 550. So 550 at, I would say 550, but this could also be the top for the year, this candle. If more selling comes in or anything happens, who knows? But we're not talking about Apple, we're talking about Amazon. So like I said, Amazon will push to 3500 for its capitulation top. Um, yeah, 3,500 capitulation top. This is the weekly. So the setup is similar to, it's just a duplicate of the daily. So you want to be familiar with your setup. You want everything to be consistent. Everything about day trading is about consistency. Consistency. You want to develop a strategy, stick with that strategy, and only deviate when the game change, right? When the game change or some opportunity comes up, you got other things in the bag, but you want to stick with your principle, what you're good at. And this is what I'm good at. I'm good at Amazon and I'm good at option selling. And sometimes I'll do option buying, but I do this consistently and I make money consistently doing this because I just do clean technical analysis. So Amazon, here you duplicate the chart on the weekly, and here look at that 5 week moving average, simple moving average, and look how clean it is with the pattern. I mean, it's just a clean pattern, and it lines up perfectly with what this weekly candle, that the lower end. You don't even need to, these are there, but you don't even, none of this matters as far as the 20 week, 50, 100, etc. You look at this and anybody would tell you this is going higher. So it's going higher. The only thing is the McCullen oscillator for the weekly. I mean, you got one red, two red, then you got a green, then you got one, two, three, four red candle. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. So I'm not even gonna look at it. But on the daily McCullen oscillator, it's green, 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 and tomorrow will be another green. So I trust this one more than the weekly, and I trust my instinct. And I'm saying Amazon is going to 3,500, and so if you're gonna trend, if you want to trend instead of counter trending, so I was counter trending this whole, this run up right here. I was expecting a pullback, so I was counter trending, but it didn't happen. Most of the time, it gaps down and pushed right back up. So I was more or less counter trending. After today, I've switched it to trending, so I'm expecting the next leg up after a gap up tomorrow. Let's just see what the aftermarket is doing for Amazon. Relatively nothing, surprisingly. What's the QQQ doing? Um, so the QQQ is pushed above. So already the Q is at 286. So it's above already. So it's gonna be a positive day tomorrow. Anything else on Amazon that I can think of? I can't think of anything else right now. Um, yeah, so just the intraday. So today was a reversal day, right? So it essentially what today, let me get rid of the extended hours, the intraday. So you can see today it gapped down and it pushed down, and I was expecting a smackdown, and these smackdown right here where they hit 10,000 shares to the bid, and they just hit. So these big down red candle that you can see on the 1 minute, where it just whoosh, it's pretty much just a huge candle just getting whipped down. I was expecting that anytime, anytime. Didn't happen, surprisingly. Why didn't that happen? Why did they not smack it down? I don't know. I mean, especially how successful the SmackDown was in the morning on Monday. You would think they would hit that again and smack it below um, this level. It didn't even get close to this level on Amazon. I mean, that's just kind of strange. Normally, you would get it would get pushed down here, and then you got this doji wick tail, this doji tail candle where you can either buy the calls or sell the puts, and no one's gonna see this this run up, but this run up just push, 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 low volume too, right? I mean, the volume on these push was quite low. Then the volume started to come in. So here you see a little bit more volume coming in, and it landed right at 33.50. Now at this point, I sold some calls, and but I covered soon because it was so strong of a day. I mean, when you get this type of reversal from negative and where it's just pushing and then it went positive, I knew it was going to be a strong day, and so I covered too soon because these type of volumes scared me. This was high volume, or relatively high volume, and so it scared me. But if I was a little bit brave, I'd held on and cover somewhere here. This would have been a better cover. And then play this because I have no idea what they're doing, but they kept Amazon, and you can see the video faded. The VIX did the exact opposite. It was strong in the morning. Volume was strong, but volume can come in. So I was expecting volume to come in. I was expecting this thing to, if this were to retrace the VWAP, recover, and then just kept going up through volume. Didn't happen. So they come with it, hit a blow, and then it's failed. So a selling can for the VIX, a wick on the candle, which is a reversal candle, a doji reversal candle. So this is bullish for the market. Amazon is bullish. Technically it looks bullish. Anyway, you get too good volume day compared to the previous day. Too good value is also bullish. So QQQ is bullish. And if you look at the overall market, highs up, that's bullish. CIA, the biotech is weak. Retail is high, thing. And so the bias of the market is again positive, and until it turns negative, so I'll let you know. But